Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. This is Jason Butt with the UGAsports.com quick take, and boy, do we have a good one for you. Just when Georgia is not feeling too great about itself, or at least from the outside, just thinking, oh my gosh, where are we this season? They almost lost to Missouri, coming off a 17-point win against Kent State, even though Kent State might have been a little better than we thought they were. Still didn't look that good. Then you follow it up with a pretty bad showing in three quarters. And if you're Georgia, you're trying to get right and you're trying to figure out what's wrong and correct those mistakes. And you're looking for internal motivation and you're trying to seek ways to improve here and there and hope that injured guys come back. And then you got to worry about Jalen Carter not being available because of the knee injury sustained on the chop block and all of these things. And then Auburn's center, Brandon Council, the media, and says this, and I will start. Quote, they as in Georgia, they got some interior stunts that kind of hinders the run game, but we're going to start off fast. If you start off fast, run the ball on them, and keep them out of their third down packages, really, we could demolish them, I believe personally, up front. Now, you're thinking, oh, okay, all right, wait a minute here. And first of all, I'm reading this from Auburn Sports over our good friends at the Rivals Network. This is a story from Brian Matthews about what Brandon Council had to say about UGA's defensive line. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So, yes, Brandon Council says that. So at first you're thinking, okay, maybe that's not too bad. That's he's just a confident guy. He's a confident center. Good for him, right? Keeps going. Because right now, and he's about to refer to Jalen Carter and the knee injury, because right now they don't have that much depth due to injuries in the interior D line. The guys that do come out, I don't think they trust them. If we keep them out of third down where they can't bring packages and have to keep the main guys on the field, we're just going to run the ball on them all day because they're going to get tired. Okay, well, if you're Georgia, you're sitting there going, thank you, sir. You just gave us the position that we needed to go and do everything we can to ensure that you guys don't run the ball. And here's the thing that is quite crazy about the confidence that Council is speaking with. And you just look at the numbers. Auburn is 10th in the SEC in rushing offense. They average 159.4 rushing yards per game. So 10th out of 14 teams in the SEC. Meanwhile, Georgia is second in the SEC at 89.2 rushing yards per game. Now, I mean, mind you, Georgia did give up some big runs against Missouri and even had a couple of running backs get loose, or running plays, I should say, get loose against Kent State. But the numbers have been pretty solid across the board all season long. It's not like teams are just running rampant all over Georgia. It's just as you can tell, I'm a little bit out of a loss for words when it comes to the confidence. I don't want to call it arrogance. He's a college kid, so you don't want to go that far. But my goodness, you're just kind of shocked if you're the media relations guy. If you are Brian Harsin, if you're Brian Harsin, you're sitting there going, "Are you kidding me, kid? Like, what are you doing? Like, this is I'm sitting here on the hot seat. I've got a job that I'm fighting for because at 3-2 with a blowout loss against Penn State and a close loss against LSU, if he loses to Georgia, he loses a couple more. He already had an attempted coup this past offseason. What more could happen? So it's you're just sitting there wondering, if you're Auburn, you're like, wow, couldn't be a worse time. Because yes, as Brandon Council does say here, quote, we have the chance to go out there and do something that hasn't been done in a long time. That's beat Georgia at Georgia. That would be a big thing. Our goal is to go in like a SWAT team, in and out, and quiet the noise and beat their behinds and get out. Look, you appreciate the confidence from, if that was a Georgia player saying that, that's cool. I mean, I think it's well within anybody's right to have that kind of confidence and that kind of swagger to say, hey, our mentality is to go in, get the job done, beat them soundly, do those things. But when you start talking about making them tired and bringing in packages and they don't have depth, I mean, if you're Zion Logue, if you're Nazir Stackhouse, on the end. If you're Bear Alexander, and then even the DNs for that matter, if you're Michael Williams, if you're Robert Beal, if you're Nolan Smith, if you're the inside linebacker, Smile Munden, Jamon Dumas-Johnson, all those guys, man, you're sitting there crossing your arms going, what is wrong with this guy? And now it's personal, even, before it's a business trip, right? Or really you're at home at Sanford, but before it was business. And now it's personal. And so if you're Georgia, first of all, if you're a Georgia fan, you're saying thank you, because now, the last 2 weeks and the concerns, and when it comes to making sure you play, not playing down to the competition, you don't have to worry about that now, because there's a target on this guy's, well, I guess it'd be the chest, because he's a center. But there's now a target, and not only will the D line be going after this guy, not only will the D line make it a point to shut down the run game as the number 2 rush defense in the SEC, not only will this defense make it a point to get after the quarterback, the offense is going to do the same thing. I guarantee you the offense is just as pissed off, just as caught off guard, just as whatever you want to call it, as to what this guy has said. It is essentially for a Georgia team that already still, but despite the fact the last 2 games have not gone according to plan and haven't gone as well as you would have expected, this is still a team that pretty much for the rest of the way on their schedule are going to enter each game with more talent than the opposing team. When I'm saying regular season speaking, I mean, Alabama's assuming Georgia gets to the SEC championship, still tough in there. You can't play the way you have the last 2 weeks and ensure that you get by teams like Tennessee and Kentucky and even Florida. But I think you can even probably squeak by Florida at this point, even playing like that. But you're worried about playing down. I don't think you have to now anymore. I think that Georgia was given Kirby Smart. He doesn't have to talk the rest of the week, but I guarantee you he would say something like, well, you don't need extra motivation. You have to be fully motivated to play this game. Yeah, but come on. Like that's what a lot of coaches say. But when you serve something like this up, I guarantee you Kirby and the coaching staff, they would never admit it publicly, but they are feeding these guys that information, and they are probably yelling at them in practice all the things that he said that I repeated on this video. And you know what? The only thing I can think of that Brandon Council might have been thinking in the moment, because here's the thing: offensive linemen are generally the smartest people on your team. They are the guys who they have to know so much about about the offense, make sure that they ensure the quarterback's protected. They have to do a lot at the line of scrimmage. They're generally, and then just from a media perspective, they are usually the best interviews on a roster, especially when you get to the NFL level. Like, when I covered the Falcons, or even when I covered the Ravens back in the day, those guys, when you get them one-on-one, they are usually the most down to earth. Also, they are the smartest, and they tend to really be excellent at breaking down stuff that us folks who don't know the game the way they do by living it and playing it at the highest level. They do a pretty good job of explaining it in layman's terms. That's what makes this a little more shocking to me. This wasn't a skill position player. Usually those are the guys that tend to pop off at the mouth, tend to kind of go off. This is an offensive. This is one of the more smarter guys you can usually trust to talk to the media. So, yeah, bit of a surprise. And quite honestly, yesterday I talked about staying away from the 29.5 points. I kind of want to lay the points now, quite honestly. I think that extra motivation really fuels Georgia, and I'm still going to decide. I'm going to take 2 days. Haven't really seen the line move since it jumped to 29.5, but this has me thinking, pretty solidly. Knowing what I know about Georgia, knowing what I know about Kirby Smart, knowing what I know about the culture of this team, this is something that they are not going to brush off, take lightly. This, as I mentioned, will be personal, and you can bet on it after the game. If Georgia does get the blowout victory that has eluded them in the last 2 weeks, they will definitely say yes, that this will be why. They will point to this moment of Brandon Council calling out the Georgia defensive line without Jalen Carter and saying that they are beatable and they can run the ball down their throats. These guys are 10th in the SEC. This is crazy. Well, I mean, if he was top 5, I get it, but man, okay. Maybe he's just trying to fire his guys up and basically put something out there that they have to back up, but you got to know your roster. And hey, if they back it up, kudos. I don't see it. We are Thursday morning. We got 2 days. Not seeing it. Oh man, Georgia, you guys got real lucky with this. I guarantee you, this is something that everybody in that locker room in that program is talking about today and will tomorrow and right before kickoff and possibly after kickoff if things go the way that I'm now thinking they're going to go. And on that note, I am going to let you guys go and have a wonderful Thursday. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share, join the Dog Vent, best Georgia forum on the entire internet. You guys got to get over there and get all the inside scoop from Roddy Nabolzi, from Anthony Dasher, all those guys. Jed May, recruiting information is outstanding, obviously, and just go do it. Take my word for it. And with that, I will be on my way for today. And you guys have been outstanding. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome. And I've been Jason Butt. Y'all have a great day.